Hey everyone, it's Liam the Deaf Doom Metalhead. I hope you're all well on this very sweaty Friday night. I am drinking a beer at last after having a week with my kids. I've done dinosaur parks, zoos, all sorts of shit. Walking for like 6 hours a day, and I'm now happily sat at home on my arse having a beer. So, with this video, I thought it was time to do a collection update. There's two missing that I wanted to show, but they're not here and they haven't arrived, and I don't know when they will, because with COVID, you know, postage, you can't really get mad anymore, so I'm just kind of giving up and I'm assuming it'll turn up hopefully next week. But like the title of this video suggests, I got a gift sent to me from the Infidel Amsterdam, who's a big YouTuber in the metal world. He did a competition on Instagram basically saying, you know, I want to get rid of this album, does anyone want it? And I obviously said yes, and amazingly he picked me, so I'll start off with that one. Now, it's not something I would have ever bought myself just off the fly. I mean, I've obviously listened to it and I really enjoy it. It's a black metal album. They are from Belgium, I believe, but the band name, and it translates in Dutch, so I believe in Belgium they speak Dutch over there in some parts of it. I don't know. I can only remember vaguely that. This is their second, this band. It's a trilogy of albums, and this is the second one. And if you look at the album cover, there's no band name on there, it's just a logo, and the other two are the same. The artwork is slightly different, and this is a gatefold, and as you can see there, it kind of carries on. It looks really cool. I really liked it. When he put it on the Instagram, I was like, oh, okay. You know, I like black metal. I like, you know, Satyricon. I really, as I'm getting older, I seem to kind of accept it more than I used to. And I'm in the latest one from Afsky that's come out. I've bought that, and that was one of the ones I'm waiting for, because I really enjoyed listening to that on Spotify. There's all sorts that have come out recently, and I've kind of listened to them and gone, okay, and I understand it now, and I've gone back on older bands like Dissection, that kind of thing that my mate Kenny's spoken about many times, and you know, I've completely ignored it, and now I really enjoy it. So it's quite nice to kind of discover this whole new genre of music that, you know, before I completely ignored. Now this band, I won't pronounce this correctly, is Weege Dude, which I know is totally wrong, but you know, when you read it, that's how it looks like to me. And what it translates to is death in the cradle, which is a Dutch term for sudden infant death syndrome. Yeah, okay. And the album is there's parts 1, 2, and 3, and also I said this is parts 2. That's what it says, and that translates to, I think, the dead are the lucky ones. But I could be totally wrong. So if you know, please let me know, because it's been bugging me, because I read so many different reviews and they all seem to translate it differently, so who knows. But he gave this away because he dropped it, but it plays absolutely fine, he said, but in between the tracks you'll hear like a hissy kind of sound, and that doesn't bother me in the slightest. It still sounds great. I mean, it's really raw, aggressive black metal with lots of atmosphere. I mean, the vinyl looks amazing as well, really looks smart. You know, and he sent this free of charge, you know, postage all free. I didn't have to pay anything for it. And I've been a follower of his channel for fucking years. When he used to have long hair and sit on this big throne with skulls and horns on it. You know, and I used to use his videos a lot because he's got a very similar music taste to me, which is really cool. When you're kind of looking online for new bands, you kind of find these channels, and hopefully you do that with mine, where you discover these new bands and you check them out and you learn something. The inlay is nothing, again, it's just the logo, and they're the tracks. But this album really surprised me. I mean, I had it open ears when I came into it, had no expectations. I didn't know what I was going to expect or what I was going to hear, and it's got some cracking guitar melodies in there, like really, like the acoustic passengers and stuff like that. Really well written, and it's bags of atmosphere, absolutely loads of it, and I love that in my music. So for me, this was a really good album. I'm really thankful to Ed for sending this to me, if he watches this video. I've already thanked him, obviously, on Instagram. But yeah, if you've never checked this album out, please do it. And the other two, they're on my want list now. They're not that expensive, so I'll hopefully get them soon, because it's only free. And, you know, I love black metal at the moment. I've been listening to loads of different styles of it. There's some of it I don't like still, like the kind of ones where it's recorded in a sock and they kind of hit play, and you don't need to do that anymore. You know, the technology's changed now. I would know that. I've recorded albums. You don't need to put like a sock over your amp and that kind of thing to give that true cult sound, because no one cares anymore. You know, if you can write really good music in the vein of that style, you don't need to do anything else. And this is recorded really nicely, really well produced, and I really like it. So yeah, might as well call myself a hipster black metal now. And then next one is a new one that's only come out, I think, only a couple of weeks ago, through MSUO Records, which translates to, I'm not even going to pronounce it, I'll let you read it, which is that London-based company that do like a partnership, I think, with Dark Descent Records, and this is Faceless Burial's new one that came out a couple of weeks ago, called Speciation, I think. Really bright colours for a death metal. I mean, this is some really strong death metal. Based in Melbourne, Victoria. They're a 3-piece as well, which is really cool. But, you know, again, I listened to some of their previous work, like demos and stuff like that, and I really liked it. And I saw the pre-order come up for this, you know, and when it's normally coming out through MSUO Records, you know it's going to be pretty strong. And the majority of their records they put out, I really enjoy. Don't like the shininess, though, that's the only problem. But that's me being picky. But I mean, the album itself, it gave off a lot of strong, especially on the first track, death vibes, like mid-tier death albums. But then it gets really heavy, and you know, a lot of the songs vary, but guitar playing on this album is fantastic. It's really technical, really melodic, really shreddy, you know, really cool. And I was lucky enough to get a clear pressing with kind of like a weird blue swirl, custom inlays there. You know, it sounds phenomenal. If you've never checked this band out, please do, because they are really good, especially this album. Really strong, and if, like I say, if you like death for some of it, really technical death metal, but there's also the brutal side of it, which kind of gives it that kind of underground vibe to it as well. I mean, I think it came with a poster, and it's like really thick card inlay there with the guys on the front. Again, bright colours. I think that's a picture of them. I don't know if you can see that on the camera very well. You know, but yeah, thick card as well. I think it's really lush. Really good stuff. I mean, it even came with a big poster, which I've yet to put up, because I'm kind of running out of room around here. It's not a very big room. I'll just show you that quickly, because it's very nice. There we go. The album artwork. So yeah, I mean, these guys totally surprised me. I never heard of them. I listened to some of their stuff and I thought, you know, because normally the Aussies, they go over the top with their, you know, death metal and that. It's really brutal. It's just insane, some of the bands from that area and what they can produce, like Disentomb and, you know, stuff like that. It's just insane how heavy they can be. So yeah, Faceless Burial with Speciation. Really strong album. So check that one out. And then sweating my arse off again, it's so fucking hot. Obviously, with the news of LG Petrov getting diagnosed with incurable cancer, kind of put a downer on this album I got recently. But, you know, hopefully he'll pull through. He's a fucking legend. And that is Firespawn's third album of the trilogy, Abominate, through Century Media. I mean, Petrov's vocals on here are really strong, as are the other two albums, and obviously Entombed AD. He's a legend, and everyone who knows Entombed that will be obviously upset with that news. But you know, I hopefully he'll pull through and he'll be absolutely fine, because you know, you can only hope, can't you? But this band, obviously, I've shown this on my channel before because I've got the other two. But it features ex-members or current members even of Dimmu Borgir, Entombed AD, Necrophobic, Unleashed, Naglafar, I think it's pronounced. I mean, I love this band, and I really hope I get to see them live, because they really are strong in their music, and it's just pummeling, brutal. And I think, to me personally, Petrov's vocals are probably the best he's done in a long time. You know, it's really guttural, really growly. And it's done. The artwork is done by Paolo Girardi, whose album artwork is, you know, all done via oil paintings. And as you can see, I don't know if the camera will justify how cool this is. I mean, if you go and look him up, his name on Instagram, I'll put a link below the video so you can see his channel, or his page even. He produces some amazing stuff, and it's really, really strong. Really, really strong. And if you're buying an album, you know, there's two things you want: brilliant music and brilliant artwork, and this album covers both those bases. But there they are. Black vinyl, so nothing fancy. But I'm really happy I've got all three of them now because they're really good bands. That's Firespawn. I think that came out last year as well. And then I showed this as a CD. I can't remember how long ago on my channel, saying I was hoping to get the vinyl press of this because I've looked everywhere and it cost a fortune. But not Century Media, Profound Law Records did a repress, and that is Mortisferum's Disgorged from Psychotic Depths. I got this through MSUO Records when I got the Faceless Burial one. This is such a great Death Doom album. If you've never heard of them, they are a Washington, Seattle-based band, I think. I'm not too sure where. I think it's Washington. But they are very, very good at what they do. Obviously, they produced a band logo that you can't read. But a Death Doom goes, I mean, you've got everything in here. Atmosphere, heavy riffs, swampy-like vocals. Solos are really good. The melodies are really good. You know, it flows really nicely as well. It's not stop-starty or anything like that. You know, it's a proper album, start to finish. It's not boring. Not a weak track on here either. So I was really happy to finally have this on vinyl. So yeah, that's Mortisferum. And then this year I checked this album out through Spotify, as I normally do, and it floored me. It's that good. If you like grindcore, like early Napalm Death, or you know, I would say Terrorizer, but maybe not. This is more of a swampier sound, really muddy, aggressive, fast, natural sounding on the drums. There's no over triggers or anything like that. It's proper aggressive, and that is Caustic Wounds, Death Posture. Came out this year through Profound Law. And what's cool about this album, and I knew I'd like it, is it's got the guitar players and the bass player from Mortisferum that I just showed, and the vocalist is in Cerebral Rot and Fetid, if you know those bands. So quite a strong lineup. They're obviously known for their death doom, swampy death metal. It's a straight up aggressive grindcore. If you like I say, early Napalm Death, that kind of style of grindcore where it's just all out, chunky, horrible groove riffs in there. I mean, there's not a bazillion title tracks on there like you do get quite a few. But this just kills for me. It's really happy to get it as well because it was going for silly money, and I found it again on MSUO Records, and they sent all three in the post. So I kind of jumped on this because you know this will be one of my top 10 albums this year easily, because you know riff wise there's so much going on. So heavy. So do check this one out if you haven't already, because it will definitely be worth your time. And then lastly on this list is a band I've followed for a while, and I spotted this and thought, oh, I'll jump on this, and that is Skinless, and that album is Savagery. Now what instantly got my attention was obviously the album artwork, because from far away, up close, it looks fucking awesome. I mean, you could probably guess what this is going to be. This is brutal death metal, but it is just so good. Very groovy, not like your over savage death metal where it's like really muffled, that kind of thing. It's really aggressive. Guitar tones are really modern sounding. I wouldn't say they're old school sounding, but it's just slays. It's just bags of fun. You know, no nonsense death metal, and it features a bonus track, which is a cover song by Crowbar, High Rate Extinction. So it's quite nice to hear that. That's also what sold it for me. When I heard the cover song, I thought I have to have it. Again, black vinyl, nothing fancy. This came out through Relapse in 2018, I think. Really good album. I mean, the artwork alone is worthy of the wall. It's that good. So yeah, hopefully the 6 there will take your fancy. Now, I've obviously got some CDs to show, so I'll do that in a different video, because I didn't want to kind of make this video too long, so I'm already at nearly 15 minutes of me mumbling away. But I also got a haul of completely different vinyl genres that I'm umming and ahhing whether to show them off or not. They're from my mum's collection, and I thought it'd be quite neat to do a video where I kind of show off my childhood songs that I grew up listening to as a kid, because that's pretty much what they are. They're all albums from my childhood. that me and my brother kind of split between us when my mum said, you know, go at it, have my record collection, because we're both obviously collectors now. And yeah, so let me know if you think that's worthy of doing, because there's some right belters in there, but they don't fit under the Death Doom Metalhead genre, as it were. But you know, I'm all about different kinds of styles anyway. It's the channel name comes more from my band and the style of music I play. But so yeah, let me know if you're obviously interested in checking that out, because there's some good grails in there, and they're all first pressings from the 70s and 80s. So yeah, anyway, sweat like a bastard, so I'm gonna sign off from here with my beer. Hope you're all well, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers. Oh yeah, and subscribe.